Hi everyone, Marion Embossing here. And as this video suggests, it's something a little bit different. A little bit different for you watching me, but it's not different for me because I've been doing this sort of thing for years. I mean, I started embossing over 40 years ago, and then about, oh gosh, 20 odd years ago, I used to make children's little furnishings, so little wish boxes and tooth fairy boxes, and I would stamp and emboss onto them and personalise them. So I worked a lot with wood and paint and embossing powder. From my fabulous neighbour next door, Bill, who's still there, I've got to say. He was a cabinet maker, and I used to just come up with these little designs and then show them to him, and he would make them for me. Absolutely ingenious man. Yeah, and so I haven't done this for ages now, because then paper crafting, you know, I've done scrapbooking and card making, etc. So I just thought, I've got these lovely stamps and dies. They're Catherine Paula ones, and it's the Jolly Holly stamp set with the Jolly Holly dies. And I've already got an idea for these ones, but I kept on looking at this, Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, and then the mistletoe here, and I'm like, oh, do you know what? I'd really love to make a form of plaque out of this. So let me just put those there. What I've got is just a piece of MDF. I'm very fortunate that I've got, I don't know what they're called, a wood place. A place that sells timber, a timber yard down the road that we know very well. They see me coming and they're like, oh no, it's Marion, she's going to ask us to cut loads of little bits. Because I use these in classes and that. And yeah, I just love it. But one thing you have to be aware of when you're using MDF, this bit's fine. MDF stands for medium density fibre board. It's fibres and board that's all pressed together, hence this. You need to cover this. You need to make sure this is covered completely in paint. Yeah, you don't want any of this getting out, because it can get into people's lungs and that, okay? So that's my little warning to you. If I've made a mistake in what I've said, then by all means go ahead and correct me. But that's what I've always been led to believe. Then I'm going to be using some of the Paper Artsy Fresco paints and this brand new powder called Santa's Beard. I'm going to bring it up for a little close-up. You can see all the little shiny bits in there. There's sparkle. It's predominantly white with silver, and there's sparkle in there. It's lovely. Okay, so I've got a little sanding block, so I just want to sand this off just a little bit, because I've got some little rough edges, and this will make sense as to why I'm doing this in just a moment, because I'm not actually going to use a paintbrush to apply the paint. So just give it a little sand down, and then I'm just going to wipe it with a baby wipe and get that all off. And then I'll show you how I'm applying the paint, sorry. And then I'm just going to fast forward through it all, so you haven't got to sit and watch me paint, because nobody wants to sit and watch paint dry. Do you like what I've done there? Okay, so I am going to put on some gloves, because this is messy, and oh look, top gloves. Oh my goodness, look. Oh, I think, like, look at that. Right, I won't show you the box because I won't diss the brand, in case it's because they've been sitting there too long in the open. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, I hope they're not all like that. But, or have I got a little mouse in there? I might have a little mouse jump out in a minute. But if you hear me scream, then you'll know. Right, let's have a look. Come on, you. Okay, so I want to wear gloves because I've got to pop out later, and I really just didn't want to go out with paint all over my hands. Okay, so the ones that were sticking out at the top obviously perished because they've been sitting there for a long time. So the ones underneath were fine. Right, so I am getting a few baby wipes out. So I'm just going to sit those there. And I'm going to go in with this one, which is marbles. You don't have to use paper artsy paints. Just any acrylic paints will do. I just prefer paper artsy paints. Okay, so I'm just going to get some paint onto my baby wipe. And it doesn't matter which side I start on. And I'm just going to start spreading the paint about. And it's at this point, I'm going to go around the whole thing, do a bit of drying in between. If I get fluff on it, I can get that off. That's not a problem, because I'm going to sand it down between layers anyway. And I'll just fast forward through this bit. Okay, so I'm drying that off a bit. Some of you may be thinking, why are you doing it with baby wipes? Well, quite simply, I do it with baby wipes because the baby wipe is wet. And then when you add the paint to the baby wipe, it waters down the paint instantly without you having to mix or anything. So you get a really good finish. You're not getting paint brush marks in there. You saw me dabbing just now. That's to give me a bit of texture if I want it, so I can literally just sort of start doing this, and I'll get, you might not be able to see this on camera, but I'll get bits of texture showing up on that. I can take another colour and just add some texture as well. So I'm thinking now I'm going to put a bit of this. So what did I use there? I used marbles, Paua shell. So all the Antipodean viewers, I think it's because paper artsy guys come from New Zealand. They live in France now, but they're from New Zealand. And I think this is native to New Zealand, the Paua shell. And I've actually got one because one of my lovely, lovely ladies, Rachel, she went to New Zealand because I think her sister lives out there. And she bought me one back, and it is the most beautiful shell I ever have seen. It's like, oh, inside it's like a mother of pearl in multicolour. It's stunning, and it's like a tealy turquoise colour. It is just beautiful, it really is. So what I'm going to do, I haven't done the back on this one at the moment, but I can go in and do that afterwards. That's not a problem. I'm just going to get a bit of this darker one on here. So I'm going to go round the edges, and then I'll probably bring it in a bit on here as well. Okay, so one of the best ways to check if your paint is dry, and this is an old trick, make sure your hands are dry, is I'm just going to let that cool down a little bit. If it's warm to the touch, which mine is at the moment because I've just had the heat tool on it, but if it's cold to the touch, that means the paint is still wet. And we really don't want wet paint for this next step. You can go around and touch it and see if anything comes off your fingers. It's looking good. This still feels warm from this. So what I can do, just to err on the side of caution, I can get my little bag of talcum powder, because talcum powder, it's not to do with static or anything. It's going to absorb any moisture. So I'm just getting some talcum powder on there. Just put that there. Now, give that a little blow. I'm going to bring in a piece of copier paper, And then have I want some clear gloss because I am going to ink. I've got to try and find me ink pad I want to use now. Oh, Juniper Mist. I love this colour. So I'm going to ink up the word in the bottom here, and I'm going to go with the word first because then I know how far down I can stamp my mistletoe, because if I start putting mistletoe on there and then I have no room for the word, then that's no good. So let's work backwards. So let me just grab this, and then I've got me block, so I can line that, line that up as good as. And I've not used this one before, so I'm just gonna do it there, but I'm going to, oh, do you know what, I could just give it a little sand. Someone said you can do it with a rubber, like with an eraser. I wonder if I can just do it with that and just get that off. But I'm going to stamp it onto my paper first, just to make sure that it's all okay. There is ways round this if I mess it up, so I'm not too bothered. I don't know if I put enough ink on that. No, I missed little bits. But do you know what? If that happens, I'm really not that bothered because it can look rustic, which is what I've done around the edges here. So let's get this on, and then I'm going to put my clear gloss over the top, and then that's going to seal it for me. So meet me under the mistletoe. I hope my hair's not in the way. I put a headband on this morning to stop my hair getting in the way of the camera, because it really annoys me, so it must annoy you. Okay. Ta-da. A little bit wonky. You know, I said we're going for that rustic look. We're there. We're well and truly there. Okay. If you don't tell anyone, I won't tell anyone. Right. So, oh, in case anyone's wondering, that's the talcum powder that's gone on my mat. Right, so let's just give that a little heat. It's all well and good lining it up on this, but if I don't put that on straight, it don't matter, does it? Okie dokes. So you may have noticed when I was first doing it, I was moving it quite a bit. I didn't want to blast it with heat instantly. I wanted to just get it warm, and that's how you do that. Just sort of move it around a little bit. Then you can start sort of putting it in areas and then seeing it change. So let me clean this off. Reuse that old baby wipe. And you know what, when you've done things like this, you can actually take pieces of card and just like stamp onto the card like so and create your own backgrounds. So you're getting more out of this than, you know, you normally would. But that's another thing. Okay, so let me take that little guy off. So I'm happy with that. Now, right, now this is my bit. So now I want to see, whoops. Oh, do you know what? I need to clean that a bit. That's got a bit yucky. Let me just give it a little clean with a baby wipe. Okie dokie. Now, so I've got a piece of card standing by. This is my, in case it goes wrong. So basically, I'm going to stamp out the mistletoe on here, And then if it does go wrong, or I might even do some on here separately and then die cut them because I've got the little dies here, and then layer them over the top. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Like everything, I don't practice any of these videos. I just go straight in and see what happens. I like to live dangerously. Okay, so this is Santa's beard. So I want to make sure I've got lots and lots of ink because I've pretty much, I mean, you can try and line it up again, but it's not always that easy. I've wrote November 22 on the back of this, so I know, because I've got a couple of them sitting around, so I know this is my newest one. And it's a good idea to put that, because then you can see how long they last you as well. Because often people say, how long does a pad last? Well, how many times you're using it? You know, it's a really hard question to answer, because you could be using it every single day. But, you know, anyway. Right, so let's just go one there. Push it down nice and firmly. Get lots and lots of that ink on. Perfect. And then let's just sprinkle our Santa's beard on top. Lovely. Oh, what I might do is add a bit more. Did I add some talcum powder? I can't remember now. I know I did somewhere, but I don't know whether I did it before this. I don't know that I'm going to overlap these, so I might, let's just go for another one because of the colour. So bring that up so it's not exactly the same, and I've done it at a slightly different angle. And then more. This Santa's beard. It's got all chunky bits in it and all silvery sparkles. It's lovely. Do you know what? Even that just looks gorgeous. I just feel like, do you know what? Part of me feels like I should just leave it at that. Let me. Okay, this is where I get these ideas in my head and I think, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Let me just heat set this. Do I want to do more? Oh, I wish we was on a live and you could be saying, do more, or no, leave it. I just really like that. But then I am quite plain and simple. One thing I did want to point out, you may have noticed, I started the heat tool off quite high. Normally I'd be in about an inch from it, but I started it off high because anything that's usually got chunky bits, glitter bits, I always preach to you about heating from underneath. That's how I do most of my heating anyway. But obviously with this thickness, I have gone through thin MDF before, about that thin, and definitely chipboard. But with this thickness, the heat is not going to go through there. So I start off high and get it to gradually melt, and then I can start going in a little bit lower, and then I can see that it's all done. I've got little berries to put in here, which I will do in a moment. I just like that. Oh, I'll do more because that was what was in my head. Okay, I'm just going to stick a little bit more talc on because I've been touching that now and handling it. So this is just going to stop me getting bits all stuck to it where I've had my fingers on it. And I might go around the edge with a little bit more in a minute. Anyway, I will carry on. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I've got myself a little block because in this stamp set, there's also the little berries, and this tiny little one is what I'm going to use that goes with this. Well, I think it does anyway. So let me just put that there. And then I'm going to use some of the Catherine Paula Rouge because I thought well, obviously berries are red. Well, they don't have to be red, but I just thought these colours go nicely together. So I really hope I'm not going to get my head in the way. That's why I put a headband on to keep it out of the way, but I will have to lean over a little bit just to see. And you can see on the design, let me bring it up to you, there's little bits out. That's where the little berry goes, if that makes it. Look at that. Right, I'm just gonna pop these little berries in, turn them so that you get the little, oh, see, that one weren't great. Okay, let's make that a bigger berry. It don't matter. Right, where else have I got one? There. There's a little one right on the edge there. There's another one there. And another one there. Didn't do that one great either. Let's try that again. Oh, that's better. And then, oh, this one's a double. So cute. Look at, oh, I love it, love it. So do you know what? You can do these. You don't have to do it on wood. Go down to your dollar store, pound store. Any UK people watching, I got some lovely little canvases, some just little flat canvases from the Works the other day. And I think there was 6 5x7s for £3, you know, so you can do this on those. What I would say with canvas is once you've painted it, definitely make sure you put some talc over or something, because that helps. One, obviously it stops with the paint, it sticking to the paint, but also canvas has got like ridgy bits in it, hasn't it? Because that's the nature of canvas. Right, have I missed any more? Have I missed any? I don't think so. I love that. I hope you like that. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit more of the Paua shell. I don't want to mess it up. Don't want to mess it up. Right, let's just wrap this around my finger. And then I just want a little bit. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to flip my block, pop a little bit of tap paint round there, just pick a bit up, and then just bring some more of that darker colour in. I want to be careful where I've just done that rouge. I feel like I have to say rouge instead of, I don't know, rouge. How would you pronounce it? Rouge. Oh, look at that. So just, and it doesn't matter if you go over those bits. Because then it sort of blends it in. If you want to take a bit off, you can with your wet baby wipe. And I didn't use my dyes, did I? I didn't go in and do what I thought I might have to do. But that's probably because I didn't need to. I will use those on something else. So let me just going to wipe that off just a little bit. Well, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I do these videos for you, obviously, but I do them for me as well. Because it keeps me sane. But I hope you'll agree. I mean, wouldn't that make a beautiful, beautiful gift this Christmas to someone? Go make a load and sell them at craft fairs. just fantastic. And then once this is dry, this red, that's fine. This is going nowhere because this has got gloss over the top. But look, isn't that lovely? Yeah, go make a load and make some money. Pay for your heating. Okay, I won't get political, sorry. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it come out a little bit different to what I'd originally intended, which most of my things do. But yeah, so something a little bit different. Thanks, guys. Bye.